Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming to my class this evening. Tonight, I wanted to talk about how to host or hold an open house successfully and the steps that you should take to prepare for the open house because a lot of agents will rush and just do an open house like the day before, but you're not really getting the marketing out there. You're not really notifying the public in time to have a successful open house. So let's go through the steps of how I would hold an open house. So before anything, you need to choose the right day and the right time. Weekends, especially Saturday or Sunday, maybe between the hours of 11 and 3, tend to draw the best amount of people through your home. That's when people are out and about. Avoid any holidays or bring or anything that has like a local event, dates that have local events, because that can reduce the turnout. However, I kind of also disagree with that because if there is a big event in the area, you may want to hold an open house and just make sure you put out a ton of signs to draw in the public because if they're in the area for that reason, maybe they want to possibly call that their home in regards to location because maybe they're in town just for an event and they're like, "Ooh, I really like Arizona's weather," or whatever it might be. So anyways, while I do agree with the holidays, if there's a big local event, I kind of disagree with that. So I would hold an open house. I would actually extend my hours just to allow the public to have an opportunity to come in. But I would definitely research the time of the event and then do it around that. Okay, so once you've chosen the right day and the right time, you want to prepare the home. And if it's vacant, that might be staging. If it's occupied, that might be decluttering, having the sellers hire or clean the home just to make sure that it's decluttered and, of course, clean. Like I mentioned prior, if it's vacant, even if it's occupied, you want to stage it. And you want to do key areas like a living room, a kitchen, a primary bedroom, because you want to show some kind of lifestyle appeal to the public or whoever's going to be coming in to tour it. And staging items can be very bare minimum, just a couple little things here and there. If it's vacant, it's a little bit harder to stage with bigger items unless your clients are willing to pay the cost for that staging. Um, Typically, depending on how you work your business model, the seller would either pay for it or you would just increase your compensation in the beginning and then you pay out of it. So, whatever you decide. But nonetheless, if your client does want staging, feel free to do the staging, however, it can be done appropriately and feasibly if it's possible. You want to make sure that the home is bright and inviting. So make sure that you open up the blinds, you turn on the lights, and sometimes if it's hot out, maybe a ceiling fan or two. Make sure you don't forget to turn on like all the lights, the closet lights, the bathroom lights, the fan, I'm sorry, the light on the oven vent if it has one. Um, Laundry room, and even the garage. Because again, when someone is walking through the home, you want it to be very inviting. So turning on lights can definitely help with that. How does the home smell? You don't want to have it smelling like fish. Maybe the seller cooked fish the evening before. You don't want it to smell old and like mothballs or whatever it might be. So you definitely want to use scents like a fresh linen or even bake some fresh cookies if the seller's okay with that. You want to avoid using any kind of strong candles. And I actually like to avoid candles in general because it has a fire, it's a burning wick. So I just don't want the responsibility. And then also, last thing to prepare the home is the temperature. How does it feel? How is it outside? When someone walks in out of 110-degree weather here in Arizona, they don't want to come into a house that's 80 or 90 degrees. And if you're sitting there holding the open house, you don't want to be sitting there in 80 to 90 degrees. And on the flip side, if it's in the winter and it's cold and rainy outside, you want to make sure that it's inviting, it's warm. Maybe there's a fireplace. You can have a little fire going. If, again, to each his comfort level. I definitely would not do it if it was a wood burning one, but I might do it if it's a gas natural line one. Okay, so another point to holding a successful open house is the curb. How does it look? Is it fresh? Does the lawn need to be mowed? Does the flowers need to be replanted? Is the entryway clean, or is there a bunch of Amazon packages by the door? Whatever it might be. Make sure that it's clean of debris. If it rained the night before, if there was a huge windstorm, is it really dusty? Is there leaves everywhere? Maybe take out a mop and just, you know, freshen it up a little bit. You can always place a welcome mat outside the front door, whether it has your name on it or your brand name on it, whatever it might be. And then maybe consider a couple little potted plants by the front door. And of course, this is always a conversation that you can have with your seller. Again, if it's vacant, it's a little bit different because it's vacant. And they just don't have the pieces at the home anymore. You're welcome to bring a couple little things if you want, but you're not required to. Again, we work for our clients, and you just want to make sure that you're doing your client service justice. Okay, another very important fact when getting ready for an open house is marketing. You'll see on my screen a marketing piece that I did for my open house I did this last weekend. You want to make sure that it is vibrant, full of information. It has all your contact information on it. You want to make sure that if you look here at the top, I'm sorry, here at the bottom, that it has all the required fair housing logos, and then of course, clear and prominent is your brokerage office logo. Let's see. You want to list the open house on the MLS. If it's listed on the MLS, it should auto-populate into Zillow and Realtor.com, but go and double check, make sure they are. You want to post it on social media, whether it's your Facebook page, YouTube, Instagram, whatever it might be. Like I mentioned, you definitely want to create some kind of eye-catching flyer or some kind of digital invite. You definitely want to make sure that you are utilizing your social media, doing posts, stories. You can even post to local Facebook groups. You can add directional signs with balloons or branding starting at main streets. And this is kind of important because if the public doesn't see signs to your open house, they may not even know that it's even going on. So what I like to do is I like to pull up a map of the community that I'm going to be doing an open house, and I find my home and I work backwards. I say, okay, if I were going to start at the house and go backwards to have somebody follow signs to the house, where would I strategically have to place my signs? So I would do that. And I also like to place them within the community. So if there's like a T intersection from another part of the neighborhood, I'll put a sign there because maybe that person wants to upgrade their home. Maybe they're in the smaller community, part of the community. So definitely don't just put it on major streets. And you definitely want to put it out on all corners of major streets to draw traffic in, depending on the direction of where the home is. Of course, make sure your arrows, if you've got an arrow signage, which most open houses do, are pointed in the right direction. And you want to make sure that you're putting out enough open houses to draw the public in and to successfully lead them to your listing. Putting out one or two is not going to do your client justice. Um, yeah, and definitely not the public because they're not going to be able to find your home. So you're just going to be sitting in an open house, an empty open house. All right, so now that we have prepped and, oh, I do want to note, you definitely want to make sure that you put the open house in the MLS at least 3 to 5 days prior to the event. So like today is Wednesday, if an open house is Saturday, today would be an appropriate time to put in the time because that gives the public a couple days to see that there's an open house. Okay. So what do you do during the open house? Well, you want to make it memorable. You want to create a warm welcome. You want to make sure you stand up and you want to greet them personally, smile, introduce yourself. You don't necessarily have to shake their hand, but definitely make sure that you are friendly, you have a smile on your face, speak clearly and with confidence. You want to have some kind of sign-in sheet or a digital registration, and whether it's because your clients want it or just for you to follow up and to send like a thank you card, which I'll talk to you about later. You want to make sure that you offer some kind of refreshments. If it's an early morning, maybe you want to do muffins or bagels or donuts. If it's later in the day, you may want to offer, cookies or maybe even just a quick snack like little chips or something, popcorn, whatever it might be. Just make sure you offer some kind of refreshment, water, coffee, whatever it might be. You definitely want to set the mood. There's nothing worse than going into an open house and it be completely silent. If you have the ability to play some kind of music, definitely play something soft that's in the background and make sure it's appropriate. You don't want to have some kind of rap music going on. You definitely want to make sure that you have flyers printed, whether it's the one on the screen, something that you can hand out and make available, something that highlights the property and that has your contact information on it. Kind of feel the person or people out. You don't want to hover. You want to guide them through the tour. So let them explore freely, but be available to answer any questions and don't be afraid to talk to them. Just kind of, of course, when you first greet them, kind of feel them out. Like, are you working with an agent? Great. If they are. If they're not, wonderful. But again, don't hover. Let them do their thing. And then before they leave, follow up with them. How did it go? Do you have any feedback for my clients? If this home didn't fit your needs, is there something else that you're looking for? I get done at 3 o'clock today. I'd be happy to show you more houses that would fit your needs. Something like that. So again, you're not hovering, you're kind of guiding it, and you're asking for their business, especially if they're not working with an agent. If they are working with an agent, you let them do their thing, have their agent call you with any questions. And also make sure that you're pointing out unique features or recent upgrades to the home, things that maybe they're not knowing or can't see, I guess, like a brand new AC unit or a brand new roof, like freshly painted exterior. A lot of those things are very important to potential buyers. So make sure that if it applies to your home, that you are talking about it. Of course, your safety is our top priority. You want to make sure that you don't host an open house by yourself. If you do, make sure you have the proper safety things like a whistle, um, mace, whatever it might be. But always, if you can, try to get somebody to host an open house with you. Never put yourself in a corner or in a closet. Um, you want to make sure that any of your valuables are put away. If it is an occupied home, you want to have the conversation ahead of time with your clients. Any valuables, any prescriptions, anything like that, guns, ammo, things like that have to be taken out of the home or locked up securely. Let's see. If you are doing an open house by yourself, make sure you have somebody checking in with you regularly or vice versa. So again, your safety is our top priority. Make sure that you're doing the proper steps to ensure your safety. Okay, so after an open house is done, everything's locked up, make sure that you contact the people that came. And again, this goes back to getting their information in the beginning. A lot of people aren't going to want to leave you their information, and that's okay. But if you did get their information, maybe send them a thank you message, whether it's the same day or the next day. Ask for feedback, kind of gauge their interest level. By doing that, that creates an opportunity for you to ask if you can continue to follow up with them in the future. Also, they may like how you conducted the open house, and maybe they're a looky-loo, a neighbor. Maybe they stopped in to take a peek. Maybe they're looking to sell their house and they're kind of doing an interview on you without you even knowing. Point being is follow up, be professional, and yeah. Okay, moving on. Make sure after the open house, you discuss how it went with the seller. Talk about who showed up, the feedback that you got, and what the next steps might be, whether it's hosting another open house, whatever it might be. And if you had a successful open house, post about it. Talk about the excitement on social media. Even if it doesn't sell right away, it definitely will build visibility to the public, and it could even get you more work in the future. Okay, so we talked about the prep, we talked about what to do during the open house, and we talked about what to do after the open house. Here's a couple pro tips for you. Host a neighbors only preview an hour before, maybe. That's going door knocking, inviting the neighbors over. You might want to do this the day before, saying, hey, I'm going to open up an hour early just for the neighbors to come through and take a look, because maybe they know somebody that wants to buy in the neighborhood. Promote a live video on Instagram or Facebook during the event, saying, hey, I'm here, come take a look. This is kind of a yes or a no for me. I just always veer on the no. You could offer some kind of giveaway for those that sign up, but not everyone should be doing this because there are restrictions to it. Just make sure that if you are going to do something like that, that you get permission from your broker to make sure that whatever you are doing is something that you can do and that you're not violating anything. And then track your ROI. How many attendees, how many inquiries, and how many showings resulted afterward. Please contact me if you have any questions about doing an open house. If you don't have open house signs, you can talk to your broker about borrowing some from them. Most brokerages, especially ProSmart, have some that you can check out. If you're hosting an open house for another agent, that is totally fine. It just has to be within your own brokerage. Because if you host an open house for another brokerage, it is considered deceiving the public because they may have thought that it was this brokerage, but it's not. It's actually this brokerage. So you have to be within the same brokerage. At least that is something that I know to be true per our broker. If you are not with ProSmart and you're by chance watching this, make sure you speak with your broker about that. If you have any questions or would like to host an open house, please do not hesitate to reach out to me, because I have many agents that reach out to me asking if I have mentees that would like to do an open house. And so if that is something that you're interested in, just make sure you contact me. Let me know again if you have any questions, and thank you so much for coming. I will talk to you all soon. Have a great day.